Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Campus Care Ed Talks. Ed Talks is a platform where educators and leaders come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. Our topic for the discussion is discovering one's potential as a teacher. And to express their viewpoints on the same, we have with us Miss Aditi Roy, Principal of Mount Columbus School, Delhi. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your precious time with us. To start off with the session, ma'am, the very first question that I would like to address it to you is: are there certain qualities that one must have to become a leader? Sorry, a teacher.
Oh, yes, of course. To become a teacher, uh, there are many qualities which we need to have. And, spending around 3 decades into this particular industry,
Wow.
I would say the first thing is your passion. You need to have the passion for teaching, and then there are many other things which are required, of course. And but teaching has been taken as the easiest profession. You are educated enough. I mean, that enough should come under bracket, because you are not really sure about what is enough, but you are educated enough, and you have got time. So why not become a teacher? Because you'll find a school everywhere in your locality, and you just walk in there and become a teacher. But the scenario is a little different. As you asked me, as you said that the qualities of being a teacher, the first thing is that you have to be a good communicator, right?
Absolutely.
You have to communicate well. If you're not able to communicate with anyone, you are not able to put your thoughts through. And when you are a communicator, you're a good communicator, you need to be a very good listener too. You have to listen. If you're not listening, you are just speaking, it does not make a difference to the students. Yeah.
Absolutely, ma'am. So the very first quality for any teacher to have become the teacher is just to have that patience. To be very honest, I think patience is one of the greatest quality one teacher should have in order to understand and sit in front of 40 to 50 people at one time, and just to have that skills to tell them what to do and even understand what they are looking forward for.
True, very true. Yeah, because you need to be able to, first create that, you need to create that connect with your students. And to create a connect, you cannot be impatient. You need to have loads of patience in you. And if you're short tempered, if you feel that no, I can't do that, then you're in the wrong profession.
Absolutely, ma'am. Yeah. So, ma'am, how can one develop skills needed to become a good teacher?
See, most of the skills which we have, skills normally are you are these are things which is innate. You're born with, and you only express it out along with time, along with your the way you develop. Uh, as a teacher, the first thing is you are a 1 minute manager. What do I mean by that? 1 minute manager. It says that you never know. There's no thumb rule to become a teacher, and you never know what you might need at what point of time. There might be a crisis, and you do not. You need to solve that crisis. Then you cannot wait for someone's opinion or someone's help. You need to solve that crisis then. So a teacher, the first thing is that the skill that you need is you need to be a 1 minute manager. That means you need to have problem solving skills. You come to me with a problem, I don't give you a solution. What did I help you? Right? So the skills, one is understanding. Understand how to develop is it would be it would be normally understanding of how and what you are there for. If you know why you are there in front of 50 students or 100 students or 500 students, you need to understand that you are there for a reason, and how you are going to connect through the students. So you need to have the leadership skills. That is very important. And also, a teacher has to be a team builder. You cannot do anything alone. You
Absolutely.
need to build. So these are qualities which, social, some are social qualities, some are right communication skills which you need. You need to be a great time manager too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely, ma'am. We need to. So there are a lot of skills a teacher needs to have. Is you have to be friendly. You have to. And so it's basically on situation based,
Yes, you
circumstances.
wear multiple caps, At
Absolutely.
one point of time, you are juggling with different caps a teacher has to wear. You need to be a counselor, you need to be a mother too at times, or a father figure. I would not want to be a gender biased thing because teachers are no longer gender biased, right?
Absolutely.
You need to be a parent figure for
Right.
a student. You need to be able to communicate. You need to understand them. The first thing a child is looking towards you is that whether my teacher is able to understand what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's what, like you said, you have to wear a lot of hats in order to be in this profession, but because it's not just defined to one subject that you teach. It is a lot of situation that comes along with maybe you're not even prepared for. So there are curveballs that's been thrown out to the teachers.
Anytime,
Yeah,
yes, of course.
because you never know what could come up with any student, because you are teaching something and there could be a question which is not even related to the subject in particular but in general, and you have to be prepared about it. Or like you just said, you have to be a 1 minute manager wherein you have to address that person, address that student with whatever he's asked, whatever he's come up with. So it is just like, you have to be well prepared, you have to be impromptu, you have to be spontaneous enough to handle whichever way, with whatever questions or whichever situation that comes in, and you just have to just be a, like we say na, 1 minute manager thing.
Yeah, you need to give a solution.
Yeah.
Whatever is the problem, you need to have a solution. As I tell my teachers, one thing is that questions students, you never know. As you just said, that you never know what kind of questions the students might come up with, and it might be at times not related to whatever you're teaching. Now, I do not expect all the teachers to be someone like a Swami Vivekanand having answers to everything, right?
Absolutely.
At that particular moment. So, if there's a question which the child has come up with, it's the best thing, and you do not have an answer to it at that point of time. So, the best way to deal with it is that tell the child that that's a very wonderful question that you've come up with, and maybe I do not have an answer immediately, but I will get back to you tomorrow. And tomorrow comes, a teacher should not forget, should not evade, would actually have to go back to that child and give the answer to the child, because the teacher has to do some homework. You cannot come to school
Absolutely.
without doing your homework. You need to be prepared. You cannot say that, oh, this is no rocket science. I can just walk in and I can teach and come back. No, you cannot. It does not happen that way. You need to be planned. You need to have a plan A. If that doesn't work, you might have to stretch that plan to Z,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
So that's one thing. And as you said, you need to be very careful how you're dealing with students, because we feel students don't understand or they don't realize that we are not prepared. They can understand very well, and that a child, the teacher has come to my class and is not prepared well, and that is the time when the students, they are unruly, or maybe they throw these curveballs.
Absolutely. It is like, so we kids are waiting for the moment where teacher is unprepared, and we just catch them off guard. So students are
It's
waiting.
not only that, but that's not only the thing. We have to understand the psychology of the kids. You are into a class of 40 minutes, and we know scientifically it has been proven
Yeah.
that attention span is only for 15 to 20 minutes. Beyond that, you cannot hold. So if you are holding the students for 40 minutes, you need to have something. You need some USPs in your pocket. Otherwise, it's not that the students, are not really wanting to listen to you or want to really catch you off guard. It is because they're not interested in what you're doing.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
that's more.
Absolutely, ma'am. So it is like, you have to be, that's what, no, that is why students looking for something like that, no, because A, they're not interested. Secondly,
Yes,
they are being forced to, sit in for a 40-minute class just to be there, just to have, it's basically a compulsion. So obviously they get distracted to something. That is why, a lot of things creep into a student's mind, and hence they throw that curveball in order to, just have that fun moment or fun element. And
right, right.
absolutely, the teacher has to come up with n number of things. I think their homework never ends. So to be very honest, teacher is one thing which can, because you have 40, 50 people in just one class, and we are talking about every section that you have to cover in a day. So each
Yes,
section has a different set of mindset, and each standard has some sort of differences altogether, be it age, be their class, be their understanding. So they have to be prepared accordingly in terms of handling so many people in different peer groups, just to be at the right state wherein they can answer. That's how
right.
I mean, teachers are being obligated to that, even though they are humans and we understand that where they're coming from. But I
Actually, they are juggling, you could say, too many balls at a time.
absolutely,
Multitasking is something which teachers are doing thoroughly. And with the pandemic thing coming in, and hence moving forward, we have, if they were previously juggling three balls, now they are juggling 13.
absolutely, ma'am. Yeah. So, ma'am, why? So, coming to another question is, why being good at a subject does not guarantee becoming a good teacher, like we were discussing a bit before only.
Yes. See, being good at your subject is something, teaching is a totally different ball game. I've seen people have, I mean, being wonderful in their subject, but they are not good teachers. It's not only academics. You see a small thing like a driving, driving, but it's not easy to teach driving to someone.
Absolutely.
You might say, hey, this is very easy. You have a clutch, you have a gear, and this is how, you have a brake, and this is simple, this is no rocket science. But to teach, you need to have a correct technique, and that's the reason this, you go to a driving school and learn it properly. So same way, the teaching is something which is a totally different ballgame, because first, everyone who's good in their subject might not be a good communicator, might not be very adaptable also, because a teacher is always someone who's learning. You cannot say, I know everything, now forget, I don't need to learn anymore. If you're not open to that, you cannot become a good teacher, because you have to, at any point of time, you need to, upgrade your knowledge. You have to upgrade your knowledge. We have seen how teachers actually had gone through that huge curve, right? At 2020 March, they were teaching physical classes, everything. Suddenly, in a span of 1 week, things changed, right? And teachers actually adapted. So being a teacher is totally different than being a, good, someone good at the own subject. You
Yeah.
are good at your subject, your knowledge is good, but a teacher is someone who can, transfer that knowledge. That is not possible for everyone. And you have to be, a teacher is extremely creative. A teacher can only survive as a teacher. And that too, we have to remember that these teachers, mostly these teachers, I'm not talking about myself, because I am a 19th century student and a 20th century teacher and a 21st century principal. You understand
Absolutely.
the
Yes,
difference?
ma'am. Different
Teachers
zone.
here now are 20th century teachers teaching 21st century kids.
Right.
So the way has changed. The way you have been taught, you cannot teach the same way,
Absolutely.
right? So being a student, a good student, does not guarantee that you will be a great teacher.
Absolutely. Yeah, ma'am. Obviously, so somebody who's good at their, any subject. So, for example, any teacher who's, teaching any specific subject does not guarantee a good teacher. There could be classroom scenarios wherein teachers are teaching but cannot control the class. There are
Yes,
times when the teacher is perfect. Obviously, when somebody is doing some job which is being allocated to them, obviously they are good at it, that is why they're there. But becoming a good teacher greatly depends on how disciplined the class is, how well
yes,
controlled the class is, how students are listening to her, how what sort of a control and impact they have towards the student. These days if you talk, and we have a lot of feedbacks wherein coming from online to offline is a real task, wherein students ideology and the way students have been in the school before the pandemic and after the pandemic has completely tossed it around, wherein
yes,
there's a different behavioral change. There's a difference of every the way you react, the way you talk, the way you convey your things has completely gone for a toss. So it is actually having a good knowledge in one subject does not guarantee having a being a good teacher. It's just that with experience you grow, you learn, you understand a lot of aspects towards how to deal with certain situations, right, ma'am?
True, very true. Because actually, with pandemic, the learning gaps. I won't say education did not happen. Of course, it happened,
It
and in a different way, it happened. But the learning gaps have been created, which we are now, trying to cover up. We are now trying to actually scale these gaps,
right.
the learning gaps which and I would also say it's not only scaling the gaps of learning, it's there's a teaching gap also which has occurred, because we were into a different format of teaching for 2 years, and we have again come back to the, and now then we have come back, we have both, we are doing
Absolutely.
blended. We
Right.
cannot throw away online, because NEP says that online is there to stay, and
Absolutely.
we are again back to offline. So we have a double tasking there, that okay, we are doing both ways now.
Yeah.
So yes, of course, the scenario is quite changed. If we compare pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, it's better that we should have a bridge. No comparison otherwise should happen. And
Absolutely.
for teachers as well, when they have got their things in place, they are planned out, they are phased out, there'll be no problem of class control. Classes are the teacher attrition, first time teachers, they always come. I've seen in all these years that the new teachers, when they come in, they have a hassled look for the first few days, that pata nahi, what is happening in my class, where am I, what am I doing, and why am I doing this, right? And I always give an example of when I started teaching as a teacher. The first class I went into was a class of 68 students.
Oh God.
68. Till now, that's the highest I've ever seen in any class. And it's long back. I'm talking about something around, long back,
Way back.
91, 92. I'm
Absolutely.
talking about then,
Yeah.
right? So so that class had, the first day I had this feeling. Then I thought, okay, the only thing I can do is that I can either enjoy doing what I want to do, or I walk out. So
Absolutely.
I chose the former, and here I am. So you have to be, extremely planned. You
Absolutely.
don't need to, terrorize your students. You don't need to do anything, but you need to be extremely planned. A teacher has to be planned. You cannot just walk in.
Absolutely, ma'am. Yeah, it's like how content you are in a certain situation just to deal
Yes,
with it. Either you back out or either you move forward and shine like a
yes,
queen. Absolutely,
yes.
ma'am. So, does one have to be passionate about teaching to become a good teacher?
Oh, yes. If you want your teaching to be effective, if you want whatever you are doing in the class to be effective, and every child should look forward that okay, today ma'am is going to come to my class. Let's see what's happening, what's new. You have to be passionate. It cannot be that okay, this is just another day, and I walk into the class and I open my book. Students, please open up book number 3 and page number 23, and you start. That is passé. That's gone.
Yeah.
That was long back. We cannot have that anymore, right? So unless you have that passion for teaching, remember, why will you then look forward to coming to the school every day? Because you're teaching those same, and half of the students actually, as I say to my teachers, I did not complete the sentence, but as I say to the teachers, the teaching is a very thankless job.
Absolutely.
You are doing something great. Your principal, me included, will walk in, or parents will also say, "Oh, that's what you're supposed to do. This is why you are here. You do something which is not there, which is not supposed to be done. You have a sullen face looking at you and saying, "Oh, I didn't expect this from you. How did this happen?" So, if you feel that this you are not there, you have to be in the first category, and you should not feel that okay, no one is motivating me, because you need to be motivated yourself. No one is going to come and motivate you. Oh, do a great work. No, that's not going to happen. You have to be passionate. You have to have that motivation within you. Only then your teaching can be effective, and the learning which you are expecting from students. We say about learning outcomes too many times. Learning outcomes. If we want the learning outcomes to really, shine bright, you need to be passionate.
Absolutely. So, absolutely, ma'am. So, to be in any field, to be in any profession, to be anywhere that you are, and in order to do well, you should be passionate enough in order to have that, feeling. So, passionate. So, being passionate is like giving you yourself a kick. to whatever you're doing has to be best, has to be the best of what can come from you. Only then you
Right.
will be able to sell it off and pull it off with others. Because if you are not passionate enough for your work, and if you are coming from a background wherein you are cribbing for whatever you are doing, absolutely, and in any position, and in no way you will be able to impart something that you have. It's how,
Exactly.
yeah, so it's in you, so it is all about you, how good, how well, and how excited you are about something. And that same excitement, that same energy, and that same aura is being transferred to the kids and to anywhere and any place that you are around.
Exactly. It has to trickle down. You cannot be in your office and say that, okay, or in your room or in a staff room and say that I'm a great teacher. It has
Absolutely.
to trickle down to the lowest level. The nursery child should go back to their parents and say, I, no, ma'am did such a wonderful thing today.
Absolutely.
Or
Yeah.
the child should be passionate to talk about what the teacher did. It can be a nursery child, it can be a class 12 child. So we
Absolutely.
need to have that passion in us.
Yeah, so it should go with them. Whatever you are giving them, it should go with them down the line, and they should be the one who will be addressing the energy, the passion, the positivity that you are trying to throw at people. So
Oh,
obviously,
yes.
so there are times when a child comes back home and is not in a good mood, or probably a child comes back home and is in very excited. There could be any reason. So one of the reasons what happens in class is what exactly you're going back home and telling. So a teacher definitely has to be passionate, definitely has to be on their game, up their game, just to have whatever comes through them. And it has to be, it is, though yes, of course, it is a thankless job. It is indeed a thankless job, wherein you are so the staff or the management says you're here for your job, you have to do that. The teacher says you're here for teaching us, you're supposed to do that. The students say, and again the staff, oh, sorry, the parents also say that what are you here for at the end of the day. So yeah, there are a lot of criticisms, there are a lot of step backs that has to be faced by a teacher. But end of the day, like with the very first initial word that we start off with the session was, she has to be patient.
She has to be patient, and also she has to be acceptable that to the idea that you will not only get bouquets, you will get brickbats too, because
Absolutely.
you are dealing with a lot of kids. You have to understand that everything cannot be taken personally, and there might be times when we have to accept that if we have done something which can be changed, can be done in a better way, we have to be acceptable to that fact as well.
Absolutely, ma'am. So ma'am, with this thought, do you have any concluding lines for the session?
I just have one line for all the teachers out there who are wanting to be teachers, that you go out there, spread the light, and see that the start and stop button is in your hand. Remember, no one is going to come to motivate you. That key is in your hand. You need to recharge yourself every day. You are a self recharging system. You don't wait for someone to come and pat your back and say that, okay, we love what you're doing. Eventually your work will say
Absolutely.
that we everyone loves what you're doing. Teachers are remembered when they are really great teachers. So that's the thing. Do not look out for shortcuts. Be planned, you'll do great work every day.
Absolutely. So, takeaway of this session is, there aren't any shortcuts. You have to be in a planned and systematic way, wherein wherever you're going, whichever hat you're wearing, you have to just outshine yourself. So, with this thought, thank you so very much, Aditi ma'am, for sharing your valuable time here. Looking forward to much more sessions like this with you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your time with us. So, with this session, I would like to sign off as Sakshi, as the host of the evening. I would promising to come back with yet another topic, which is much more interesting, and an educator, which is much more, fun-filled like hers, to share the details and the insights of her life experiences and reviews. Thank you so very much. Do subscribe our channel, share this video if you like, and hit the bell icon for more notifications. Thank you, and have a great evening.